So just to introduce myself, I'm just going to go back to the previous slide. I'm Shirley Powell. I'm a nurse by background, a nurse of 36 years, qualified as a district nurse as well back in '97, have a master's in primary care, and I'm also a business owner, founder of Your Life in Your Hands, and the health and wellbeing lead for Suffolk Black Community Forum. And I'm here working in partnership with the Caribbean and African Community Health Support Forum, delivering this project to you, this session to you today. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a few alternative ideas and a few recipes for cooking Caribbean foods using a healthier option. And you can see that lovely succulent meal there with some plantain, and yeah, it's looking nice, isn't it? But we're going to look at an alternative option. So I'm going to carry on now. So today, many stable foods in the Caribbean and African diet are good for our health. We have a wealth of food, traditional foods in the Caribbean. And however, but some things we have to do is not that we're saying that we shouldn't have these foods, but it's about how we cook them, how we prepare them. And sometimes they need a little small change to be able to cook it in a way that it's more healthy. And one of the things we need to do is look at the food portions as well. And we can still enjoy that taste of the Caribbean as part of our healthy lifestyle. And I'm going to be sharing with you later on, if we've got enough time, I'll share the link with you with some vegan meals about what you can do. One of them is on jerk lentils and mac and cheese, but it's made without the cheese. So I'll be sharing that with you later. But I'm just going to finish sharing the presentation with you first. So can I just ask you to pop in the chat, those of you who've just joined, welcome. What's your favorite Caribbean food and what's your signature dish? So can I get you just to pop that in the chat, and I'll just chat, and I'll get Marnie just to tell me what people are saying. What's your favorite Caribbean food and what's your signature dish? And yes, those patties do look nice, don't they? Mine is I like dumplings, very, very partial to dumplings, but I know I can't have them too much because of the starch. But, you know, it goes nice for the meal, doesn't it?
Well, Shirley, we have Nia. Welcome, everyone. We have Nia who said breadfruit. That's her favorite. Ivy says fish. Ruth has just joined us and she said plantain. Yes, I have said dasheen or yam.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people like that. And what about you, Marnie? What do you like? What's your signature dish? What's your favorite food, Caribbean food?
Well, definitely dasheen. Dasheen is my favorite.
Lovely, wonderful. So thanks for sharing. There's some more people coming in.
Oh, Laureen, I'm just letting them in. Don't worry about that, Shirley.
Lovely. So basically, just going to move for some reason the panel keeps coming up, so I'm trying to hide the panel, floating panel, so you don't see it. So these are, did I miss a slide? Did I go too quickly? I think I went too quickly.
I think it went one pass, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone.
Hi, everyone. These are some of the Caribbean foods that have a distinct flavor and a rich history. So here are some of them. We've got plantain, we've got beans, we've got cassava. A lot of you know about bami. If you ever had bami, maybe thinking about the bami and that. And then cilantro, coriander, the bell peppers, the Scotch bonnet, the chickpeas, tomatoes, sweet potatoes. I'm talking about the Caribbean sweet potatoes. You know, the white sweet potato. You know, you have the orangey one that you can use to make your sweet potato pudding or whatever. But I'm talking about the Caribbean sweet potatoes. So I'm talking about that here. We've got the breadfruit near. So your breadfruit is on the list. Coconut, avocado, pimento that you season your food with, your Scotch bonnet, as I said earlier, scallion, your spring onion, your pineapple, and your yam and your yellow yam. So there's a lot, and you can see all these wonderful fruits in the photo here as well. There's lots of nice food that we have to eat. So we've got the crab, the fish, the goat, for those who are meat eaters, the lamb, the chicken, seafood, lentils, watermelon, and much more. You can see here the amount of foods. And look at them lovely mangoes. I could eat one now, couldn't you? And then we have something called guinea. I don't know if I've spelled it right in the chat, but there's guinea, we used to have those in, I know when I was visiting where my mum from in Nevis, and they had those fruit as well. They have like a soury kind of sweet soury taste. Have any of you tried them? Have any of you tried the guinea before?
Yes, I love guinea, Shirley.
Yeah. Lovely, very nice. So look at all those lovely foods that we have as Caribbean foods and African foods. So here we have, there's a tendency though for us to, although we love those foods, there's a tendency for us to fry them, you know, and a lot of foods, but some of them we can bake, or we can roast in the oven, or we can cook in a slow cooker or cook on the stove. And some people say, well, it's not the same. But if you're looking at a healthier option, these are some of the things you can do to still enjoy the food, still enjoy the taste, but cook it in a different way. So it's not so many calories, or it's not going to be, you know, causing any other problems. So here we have, I'm just going to go through a few oils, because some of the things, what we cook our food in is some of the problems. So it's not necessarily the food itself, it's the actual what we cook it in. Now I tend to use extra virgin or organic olive oil because it's an anti-inflammatory food, that's what they call it, okay? But there are alternatives, and you can see here from the photo, there are some alternatives here to using that. So instead of using canola oil, vegetable oil, or sunflower oil, or corn oil, an option here is to use olive oil or avocado. Avocado is coming quite top on the list of oil to use. How many people use avocado oil here? Just pop it in the chat. So many people use that. And then there's the butter. Some of you may not have butter because of how it's made and because of it, but there are those who eat meat, and that there's the grass-fed oils, or you have the coconut oil again here. And there's difference. I think this slide here was like for the Americans, because it talks about Crisco. We don't have that here.
No. I've used avocado oil, Shirley. Yes.
You do, yes. And how is it? How do you find it, Imani? Do you like it compared
to? I don't cook with it, but I pour it on my salads after, or pour it on my meals after it's been cooked. So I don't fry with it.
Okay. Has anybody ever used it to cook with? If you can just pop it in the chat, or just
haven't seen anyone in the chat.
Okay. So here's another one, a top healthy oil that is recommended by Chef Gerard's here, and he talks about the Malaysian palm oil. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but apparently the palm oil is rich in vitamin E, and it supports the brain and heart health, and it also contains 15 times more beta carotene than carrots, and it's healthy. Saturated fats and it doesn't raise cholesterol. This is what he's saying here. Because some of the oils that you have, if you're cooking your oils, like if you're frying your dumpling or whatever, you have to think about that when the oil is heated, it can change and become sort of toxic if it's cooked too high a heat. You've then got your coconut oil, which most of us are familiar with, which is a medium chain fatty acid, and it helps to boost energy and support good digestion. And it contains saturated fats and antioxidants here as well. And it's a source of disease fighting with lauric acid in it. Then you've got your avocado oil, you can see here. Apparently it helps to fight aging. So, but we don't have to worry about that because black don't crack. But anyway, we have the avocado oil, which is credited for being good for your heart, and it protects against the cellular mitochondria. It doesn't oxidize as easily as most vegetable oils, but it's loaded with something called phytonutrients. And then you have the nut oil here. I don't know if many of you know about macadamia, I'm sure you would, but that is a nut oil as well that is used, and it's very good, and it contains potential cancer fighting oleic acid. It also has a high smoke point. So I don't know if any of you are aware of that. And then you've got your olive oil and you've got your sesame oil here. And the sesame oil is high in polyunsaturates and may help to lower blood pressure, which I find that was quite interesting as I was doing my research. It contains calcium, iron, and magnesium, and it supports strong teeth and bones, which contributes to proper fat absorption. So there you are with the oils. So when you're actually cooking your food, you can consider these oils when you're actually, and swap them in for a healthier option. Now, I thought I'd start with a nice, a traditional Caribbean dish that most of us like is cornmeal porridge. How many people like cornmeal porridge? Put it in the chat. Or just, Marnie, you can tell me if they say yes. You can put a 1 if you like cornmeal porridge. Well, as I'm waiting for you to respond, cornmeal porridge is made by grinding the corn.
Waiting for people to put a 1. I'll put a 1, but I don't know about anybody else.
Okay.
Oh, Nia says pap. It's called pap in where she comes from. Lorraine.
Oh, it's called
Lorraine
pap.
says 1. Ruth says yes.
Yes.
Ivy
Lovely.
says yes.
Well, you're amongst friends because we all like cornmeal. I love cornmeal porridge. And when you look at it, it's unlike flour because it's made from wheat grain and it does not contain gluten. So it's very safe for anybody who's suffering from celiac disease or have gluten intolerance. The only thing is, you must remember, because it's corn, it's carbohydrates. So it has 94 grams of total carbohydrates per cup. And a cup for us would be around 8 ounces. So depending on how much you would cook, sometimes we put some in and then it yields once you put your milk and everything in there. So an option is, and I know back in the Caribbean, I can remember my parents saying they do that. They used to grate it. Anybody can relate? They used to grate their corn. They used to dry the corn and they used to grate it. And then they would make their own corn porridge from the corn. Anybody remember families doing that? And it's a clean way of eating your cornmeal porridge. So a thing that you need to realize, as I said, if anybody's diabetic, they need to realize it can spike your sugar levels because it's corn, so that it's a carbohydrate. So some of the things that most people tend to cook their cornmeal porridge with, and I'm sure you can relate, is condensed milk, sugar, and coconut milk. Am I right? Is that how you cook your porridge? Well, anyway.
It used to be.
But they used to, and lots of condensed milk, isn't it? But we need to realize that it adds calories. So, and it does, although it makes your cornmeal nice and creamy, we need to be aware of those high calories. So one of the things you can do as an alternative option is to use, instead of using the full fat coconut milk, you can opt for the lighter version. They also do a low fat one now. Or you can make your own milk by getting your fresh coconut and make your own milk to do it. Some people might use almond milk if they don't use that, or the unsweetened version. I tend to use cocoa, or there's another dairy-free milk that I use. So this is one of the traditionals, and I'm going to talk about a different breakfast option as we go along.
Oh, Shirley, just a few things in the chat. Laureen says, we planted the corn, reaped the corn, take the outside off, dried the corn, and then grated the corn.
Yes. Yes.
And Ruth remembers her parents doing that.
Yeah.
But not anymore. And Ruth also uses almond milk.
Oh, almond milk. Okay, that's interesting. It'd be nice to know how that tastes compared to the others. But yes, but if you know, it's whatever your choice is really. But as long as it has a healthier option. I'm not saying you can't have it now and again, because sometimes, you know, have something now and again. But bear in mind, if you are somebody who is diabetic or in a pre-diabetic state, you just have to remember the carbohydrates in that. But oats is another alternative option that you can have for breakfast, which is a prize-winning breakfast for people because it's one of the healthiest form of breakfast that you can have in a bowl. It's rich with fiber. It's quite versatile. It has protein, antioxidants, micronutrients, B vitamins, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, so all of that, and zinc. And also, oats can help to lower your cholesterol. Now, there are different types of oats, and I just want to share with you that the rolled oats or the steel cut oats are the better ones to have because they take longer to cook, but they have a chewy effect and they break down better, and they're much better for you than the other types. And also it helps to diversify what we call the microbiome, which is the good bacteria in your gastrointestinal system. So remember, what you eat with your oats can also make a big difference too. For example, if you have protein source, you can have nut butter or chia seeds and sweeten it with natural sugar from berries. which contain fiber and antioxidants. I tend to put half a banana in mine, but I'm going to be showing you later, if we get a chance, a video snippet of me making some porridge as well. Also, to remember that oats porridge keeps you fuller for longer. So that really sets me up for the day. I know when I have it, I don't have to have anything till later on. So this is the ingredients that I use. I use the chunky traditional porridge, which is the natural one. And then there's a cocoa milk you can see there, and there's a dairy-free milk. So I have option between the two. And there's some porridge that I made. I do have a short video. Imani, do I have time to show the short video, or I don't want to, or shall I carry on and show it later? Imani?
It's up to you, Shirley.
Oh,
yeah, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
It's not very long. I'll
yeah,
what
sure.
I'll do.
Just share the screen. Yeah. Oh, Nia said linseed as well. You can add linseed to the porridge. Yeah.
Right. Let me just end that a minute and just show you the
linseed.
So I'm just gonna get the video up and show you, and I'll share the screen again so you can see the porridge that I made. And you might like it, you might not, but I put different things in mine, if it will allow me to. Am I still sharing the screen, or is it stopped sharing now?
It's just a black screen at the moment.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to find I had it here a minute ago. If I can't see, I'll just come back and show it later. Okay. For some reason,
That's
I had
fine.
it here.
Show it later if you get time.
What I can do is I'll show it later. I'll go back to the slides. Is that here? No, I'll show it later. Sorry about that, guys. I'll come back to it. Let me go back to the presentation. I'll go back to the one I was sharing earlier. Okay, so I'm trying to get it on slideshow again, but it won't go back to slideshow. I'm not sure why. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'll just go back to it. So that was the one I was showing you. So I'll come back to that other one. Yeah, so just to go into a bit more detail, can you see the screen, everyone?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you to move the bar across. There's a black bar. That's it. Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you.
I've got rid of it. So there's the types of oats I was telling you about, the steel cut oats, the rolled oats, and the instant oats, and the calories there. You can see the breakdown of the calories. But all three are very good for a part of a healthy, well-balanced diet. And it depends on the cooking use and the taste preference. But if you're looking for a slightly more fiber, heartier texture, then the steel cut oats is best. It does take longer to cook, but it's very good for you. And as I said, it keeps you fuller for longer. So if for any of you who like oats, because some of you might not like oats, but that's it. But one of the things is when you're looking for your oats, also look for the added sugar content, especially if you're watching your sugar content, and look at your labels as well. So here's a breakdown, and you can see the calorie difference and the sugar content in the different types of oats. But it's much better for you than having them. I mean, cornmeal porridge is okay, but if you want something that's going to keep you fuller for longer, oats porridge is a very good starter, better than Weetabix and cornflakes, which is not going to keep you full for long, really. So some other Caribbean breakfast ideas is having some fresh fruit for breakfast. You can have fruits that are low in sugar if you're concerned about your sugar intake. Berries, cherries, because they have antioxidants in them, stone type fruits, cranberry, blueberries, melon, tropical fruits. Or you could have a green smoothie. And many of you, if you did see the presentation that Jenny did a few weeks ago, she actually shared a green smoothie idea, which I think it might still be available, with kale and spinach that you could have as well as a breakfast. There's also the traditional breakfast that some of the Jamaicans will have for breakfast is ackee and saltfish. And here you can see the nice ackee and salvage. That's probably making your lips and your mouth get watery because of looking at that. But there are some other alternatives to those who are vegan as well, which I will mention later. Okra is another traditional Caribbean food that is used in certain cookings. I can remember my mum using it when she used to put it in cornmeal. I didn't like it because it was slimy, because it went all slimy, but there are now evidence to suggest that it's a good health, it has good health benefits. It's rich in magnesium, folate, fiber, antioxidants, and vitamin C, K1, and vitamin A. And it helps pregnant women as well, and also helps with heart health and blood sugar control. And it also has anti-cancer properties. I'm not sure if you were aware of that. So how many of you were brought up with okra? Who can relate? Or did you not like it? Is anybody saying?
Nia says yes, she was brought up with it. Yes, I didn't like it as a child, but I love it now.
Yeah, because I think
Shirley Murphy says yes.
So it'd be interesting to see how you all cook it. I know I've seen people, they chop it up and they cook it, but they keep it kind of crispy so that you don't have it in the slimy. I think what it was is because it was slimy, I didn't like it growing up, but now I would have it, and I have brought it and cooked it.
I think Lorene says it was called okra slush when she was growing up. Okra slush.
Yes, because it was like that, wasn't it? But apparently that has properties as well, where you can boil it and drink the water and have like okra tea. So I didn't realize that. I was looking at when I was doing some research, that's what it's saying. It's very good if you drink the water and have it like a tea. But we used to have it with, we called it fungi, or some people called it something else. Nia probably calls it something else, but turned cornmeal. And yeah, so how did everybody cook theirs?
Nia says you could have it raw in salads now.
Yeah.
Ruth says she wants to try and have it again. The slime put her off before, but she might give it a go. And Ivy said add it to cornmeal, okra slush, and cuckoo. I put a whole one in rice. Delicious.
Yes.
Lorene says my grandmother used the water to make cuckoo.
Yes, yes, very good. So it's a good sauce. I'm just kind of bringing it back because I know it's something that I didn't like growing up, but now as we get older, we learn a bit more about these things. And then we've got the oils again. And just to say for like we're cooking, if you look here, the green, can you see that? I don't know if you can see it close enough, but you've got hazelnut oil at the top, and you've got a breakdown of which are the good fats, which are the neutral fats, and which are the bad fats. And you can see at the top few here at the top, you've got hazelnut oil, olive oil, flaxseed oil, avocado oil is right up there. And you'll see as you go down the different types of oil, oops, sorry, I went too far. As you get to the bottom, and corn oil is one that I know that we grew up on, because I can remember my mum cooking with corn oil and that, and you see it's not got as much good fat as it has the neutral fat. So I thought that was quite interesting. When you coconut oil is right down the bottom there. So, and it's got apparently a lot of bad fat. Look how much, 80% bad fat. So it looks like, according to this, that hazelnut, olive oil, let me see, avocado oil are all better because it has more good fat in it than the bad fat. So I thought that was quite interesting to share with you. Then we got the plantain. Who are the plantain lovers? Was that you, Ruth? You like the plantain? Well, plantains are a carb-rich food and good source of fiber, vitamins and minerals. They also contain antioxidants, and they fight free radicals, and it has a good level of vitamin C in it. It supports our immune function, and there's the vitamin B6, and it can reduce cardiovascular risk and improve it as well. It's a low-fat source. It's starchy and has carbs and fibers in it as well, and contain potassium, minerals, and vitamins. So plantain is usually fried by us in the Caribbean. Most people like to fry it, have it as a side dish, have it as a snack. It can be boiled, it can be fried, it can be baked in the oven. And I would recommend, even though I know a lot of people like to fry it, baking it, you can bake it in the same way, and you can just coat the coat it if you want, or not even have to coat it, and bake it in the oven and put it on some parchment paper, and it's lovely for the kids. If you've got children, they love it as a snack, and they can have it like crisps, you know, if you slice them up quite small. You've also got the green plantain, which you can boil with your vegetables, which most of you are probably aware of and may have it yourselves. And then you've got the yellow, and then there's the black one. So there's quite a few different ones. So I now have a short video about some stewed chicken that I wanted to just show you. So I'm going to try and see if this will take you to the video. How am I doing for time, Imani? Just looking, I'll just make sure I'm not running out of time.
You've got about 25 minutes, and that's including question and answers.
Okay, brilliant. I'm just going to show this. Hopefully it will take you to the, might have to stop sharing so I can take you to it, because it's going to probably take me out of the, it's not working. Try it one more time. Right. Can you see the screen?
It looks like it's coming on, or something's happening. It's on black screen at the moment, but hopefully it's going to come on.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
No, still a black screen.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Well, something happening. Okay, I'm going to take you to the other screen, because what it does is taking you out of the other one. Why is it doing that? Sorry.
Bear with us. I mean, for the question and answers at the end, just feel free to pop any questions you may have for Shirley in the chat, and we can get to it.
Can you see the screen now? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So this is a gentleman, I'm not going to go too long in it, but it's just a recipe that he's making called a stewed chicken with potatoes. Some of you might even have done it before, but it's just a recipe.
Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. What you're looking at there is traditional Caribbean stewed chicken with potato. Yes, we've done all kind of stew before, but we've never added potato to the mix. Stay tuned. You're going to love this one, man. Just look at that gravy. Sexy for spite. Oh, boy. In my bowl here, I've got 3.5 pounds of chicken thighs, and you can see they're boneless, skinless, and this is a great opportunity to make a fast dish here, and that's why I'm using chicken thighs. Plus, dark meat gives you so much flavor, much more flavor, and you can see how big it is. I cut it up. Each thigh, I probably got 4 pieces out of it. If you want to use the bones, you can certainly do that. Totally up to you. And we're going to season and marinate as we've done before. And anytime we're doing this sort of brown stew or stew chicken Caribbean style, we've got salt. And it may look like quite a bit of salt, but if you notice over here, I've got 5 potatoes, medium-sized potatoes, just over there, soaking in water, and I've already peeled them and cubed them up into quarters. So that is why I'm using so much salt, if you're wondering. Salt, black pepper, Caribbean green seasoning, and Caribbean green seasoning, if you're new to Caribbean food, it is a combination, a blend, a puree of all the herbs that we like using, along with garlic and pimento peppers, which are seasoning peppers. So in there we've got thyme, parsley, shadow benny, all kind of niceness in there. There is no ginger in there. Some people put ginger in there. I don't put ginger in my green seasoning because it's very versatile. I like using it in different things where ginger won't necessarily work. But today, you cannot do stewed chicken without ginger. And I got my nice organic ginger there, that Chinese stuff. Well, I keep away from that, no man. We're just gonna grate in that ginger, skin and everything, don't fret. All of that going in there. That's gonna give it that lovely Caribbean vibe. We've got here tomato, onion. And you've seen me do this before. We need a little Worcestershire in there. I just like that earthiness and flavor that brings to the game. We need some Scotch bonnet pepper. Now, totally up to you. If you're not into the heat, I mean to say you can leave it out. If you can't get Scotch bonnet pepper, you can use habanero pepper. And one of the things I like doing when I buy Scotch bonnet peppers or when I grow them, when I harvest or when I bring them home. And I'm using the entire thing. I like to wash them, dry them. So when I'm ready to use them, boom, bam, straight. I don't have to worry about washing. It's already done. Now, if you're new to Caribbean cooking and cooking with Scotch bonnet peppers and stuff like that, hot peppers, the seeds and the membrane around the seeds here, that's where most of that heat is going to be. So if you notice, while I want this to have a nice kick, and you can use how much you want. If you want to leave this out, you can certainly do that.
Move it on a bit so you can see the end result.
Oil, you can certainly use that. If you want to use coconut oil, you can use that. Everything's in your control. And 1.5 tablespoons of golden brown sugar. By the way, nice big heavy pot here. And the reason why we're using potato today in this stew chicken is one of them dishes where if you're trying to stretch this dish for a lot more people, this is a great way to stretch it. Add potato to it. Hot oil, brown sugar, that's going to melt. It's going to go frothy. As soon as it becomes amber in color, that's when we're going to add the chicken, the seasoned chicken, to the pot, marinate and everything. And you're probably wondering, well, Chris, is this going to be a sweet? No, it's not going to be sweet. The steps that we're doing avoids it being sweet. We're caramelizing or giving it color. Thus, you will hear some people refer to this as brown stewed chicken. That's the browning part of it. The other thing I want to impress on you guys, now, I am one of those people who I strongly believe a recipe, you can own your own recipe. You can do things the way you like to do it, and I don't have a problem with it. However, when you're on a platform sharing the culture of a region or a country, you've got to try and stick to the recipe, or say this is my version. If you're going the traditional route, and where I'm going at with this, I've seen some people, they brown the sugar and then they add ketchup to the pot here. You all need to stop that. That is not traditional Caribbean stewed chicken. That is your version, and nothing wrong with that. I man can appreciate that, as I said, but that is not how Granny and Great Granny and everybody else did it. The other thing is, some people put soy sauce. Listen, stop. All I really need to, boy, all that has kept me so vexed. But anyhow, I still appreciating all your likes and dislikes. So go ahead, do your thing. But just here and there, that is called schwa. That is pure goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Now at this point, it's very important that you pick up all that browning from the bottom of the pot there. My heat is on high. I'm not sure if I told you guys that already. And right away you're getting that smell, that ginger, that green seasoning, that Scotch bonnet pepper, that garlic. Now in that green seasoning, and I'll have the link for that recipe down in the description of the video there. I'm telling you, man, fresh thyme, garlic, shadow belly, parsley, there's bare niceness. We want that on a high heat now. So we want to sear everything and color everything and make sure we infuse it with all that niceness. And it's very important that you keep stirring that every minute or so, because we don't want to we want to color everything evenly. Let's just say that.
So okay, I'm going to stop it there because you can get the gist of it now. So I'm just going to stop it and stop sharing. So I guess you got the gist of it, of that nice recipe that he was doing. I hope you like that one. I'm going to go back to the slides now, so you can finish sharing the slides with you. It's just a way of, I don't know if you all do your stewed chicken like that, but that is how he does his. Can you see my slide again before I move on?
Yes, Shirley.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to carry on now. Another traditional dish that we have is rice and peas. Now, I'm just going to hide the floating bar because I can see it's in the way. So rice and peas, everybody on here must have rice and peas. Everybody probably like rice and peas. You have it, sometimes we cook it, get our kidney beans, we cook them from scratch, soak them overnight, or some people now use a tin with just the salt water in it. But normally it's something that we have as a Caribbean meal. alongside our Caribbean meal, you can't have, or some people say peas and rice, or it's for rice and peas, but it's normally served with curry goat or stewed chicken or vegetables for those who are vegan, plantain and salads. One thing I would say is when you're looking at an alternative is why not try it with brown rice instead of the white rice, because the brown rice hasn't been interfered with, and the white rice is processed. And then another option, instead of having fresh, instead of using the coconut, some people put the coconut cream. How many of you use a coconut cream in your rice? I'm sure many of you do. You put the coconut cream in your rice, or you put it in your curry, you put it in your stew. If you use you can make your own by grating your coconut and use the pulp and put that in, or use some of the milk, which is probably not as bad as the cream. Well, actually, I'm not sure. It'd be nice to hear what you say. Would you think one is bad and worse than the other? But having the fresh coconut can be strained in to your rice to give it a bit of flavor. So that's an alternative option to cooking your rice. It's also important not to reheat your rice. I don't know if many of you are aware of that, because it can become poisonous if you reheat your white rice, but use brown rice as alternative to white rice when you're cooking. And then we have the traditional Jamaican dish, which everybody loves in most of the Caribbean countries, is ackee and saltfish, or there's an alternative that you can have ackee and jackfruit for vegans. How many have tried the jackfruit and ackee? Anybody tried it?
Yes, I tried curry jackfruit and ackee. Nia said yes as well. And
it has like a meat taste for those who are meat eaters. So it's got quite a meat taste, even though it's not meat, isn't it? And it looks like meat when you cook it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that texture, like meat-like texture, if you want to make a curry or something. Yeah.
So if you're thinking of an alternative to, instead of having saltfish, ackee and jackfruit is very nice to have as well. And you don't have to be vegan to have it as well. You can still be a meat eater and have it. Another food that we love is sweet potatoes, which is balanced. It balances our blood sugar. Although it is sweet and it's a different type of carbohydrate, so it breaks down into your system slowly, so it's released slowly. You can bake it, and it's nice to chop it up and bake it in the oven. You can boil it. It has a good source of vitamin C and full of antioxidants, minerals, ions, magnesium, potassium, and also it releases natural sugars slowly into the bloodstream, and helps you to ensure that your body receives a balanced source of energy. And it's also known as what we call the anti-inflammatory foods and fiber. So I have a recipe at the bottom for you to, when you get the slides, of a sweet potato recipe. So you can check that out later. Also, some people, which some of you may know on here, will have the sweet potato. I haven't put many puddings on because I'm thinking about the calories, but some people will make sweet potato pudding, and you can see a little sample here. But then we have some vegan Caribbean food. There's one here, chickpeas, with you can see with tomatoes and other vegetables in there. You've got salad, and then there's a nice dish here with some kale and some carrots and lots of other vegetables in there you can see as well. So there's different types of Caribbean food, or a healthy option to Caribbean foods that you can have. These are some of the things that I've cooked myself. This here is roasted vegetables with, you've got on here squash, been boiled and then chopped up. You've got yellow peppers, red peppers, tomatoes, red onion, and parsnips. And they've all been chopped up and then popped in the oven, drizzled with a little bit of olive oil, some seasoning, and then it's roasted in the oven. And it's nice to have that with some fish if you want to have it with some fish, or you can have it on its own as a meal. And then there's some other dishes that I've cooked. This one here is some red peppers and some tomatoes and green red peppers, red onion, and yellow peppers all mixed up, and you can have that as a side dish with some other food. There's the saltfish, but I've done saltfish here with kale as opposed to ackee. If you're trying to look at a cheaper option, because ackee can be quite expensive here in the tin, but it's a good source to have with some green banana, a plantain. I think it was plantain I had there. Some yam, soft yam, and homemade dumplings. Make the dumplings with spelt flour. I don't know if any of you ever use spelt flour. Spelt flour is a good thing to use as an alternative if you don't want to use the wheat flour. And then your rice and peas, it's your brown rice and peas that I cook in my rice cooker. So those are some of the things. Just to say that, yes, I know we all like our fried dumpling, but you can try it with as an alternative using spelt flour. I've not tried it with it yet, but I don't know if any of you have tried it, but I'd be interested to hear if you have tried it. I've tried the dumplings where you boil, and they were different with wholemeal spelt flour, but I've not tried it with a dumpling. So I'd be good to hear from any of you if you've tried it, and let me know how you found it. And other healthier ways of you can have your fresh kidney beans and soak them overnight because they're as next to nature as possible. You have to watch your seasonings that are already made up. You saw the gentleman in the presentation. He made up his own sauces himself, because once you make it up, you know what's in it. Sometimes some of these things can have too much sugar and other additives in them, and they're also processed. So it's best to try and use your own seasonings if you can get fresh. I know sometimes it's difficult to get fresh seasonings here, like for us what we use in the Caribbean, but there are some online stores and other places where you can actually get those things. I just want to show a quick. Have I got time, Amani? I don't know if I've got time. If not, I'll leave that one for you to.
Well, there's 10 minutes, and then that includes question and answers. So.
Okay, I think, well,
if anyone has any questions, just if you can pop them in the chat, and then Shirley will get to them in a moment. Thanks.
Show here a minute. I'm just taking you to this quick. It's not long, so taking you to this quick slide so you can watch this video. Can you see the screen? Hopefully.
Yes.
Why I'm showing it is because I think that they're making these with salt. There we go. Told you it wasn't very long, so I'll just stop sharing. Okay, so I'll just go back to the presentation. We're almost there now, near the end. Sorry, came up and I meant to stay on there. Okay, so where did we get to? We're right near the end now. We're almost there now. I think that was near the last one. Yeah. So we've got the last page here. Can you still see the screen?
Yes, we can.
So those are the dishes I was sharing with you. Just hide this. We talked about. So these are some of the foods that we have here, because, but as I said, the message I was trying to get across is to try and keep it as natural as possible if you can. And that's the end of the slides. I do have the other presentations, but what I can do is send those to you and you can watch them separately. So any questions?
Well, thank you so much, Shirley, for that. Let's open up our mics and give a big show of appreciation. Thank you.
Well done, Charles.
Well done, Shirley.
If anyone would like to ask any questions.
Thank you, Shirley.
You can either pop it in the chat, your questions, or you can unmute yourself and just ask your question. Just say your name and ask a question.
Let me stop the share so I can see everybody. There you go. Did that bring back a few memories of the Caribbean, anybody?
It certainly did. Hi, Carmel, do you have a question?
Not really, no.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, it's me, Ruth. I'd like to find out about that flower. What's that flower called?
Spelt flower. S-P-E-L-T. I'll put it in the chat for you. You can get it from the organic.
Yeah, you can get it from Waitrose or Sainsbury's. Have it now. S-P-E-L-T, or is it S-P-H-E-L-T? But it's in the flower section.
Spelt flower. There you go.
S-P-E-L-T.
They also do wholemeal one as well. So they do have both. So if you wanted to try with the boiled dumplings, you can use that for that. So there is also a link to some vegan meals, but because I was concerned about the time, that will be shared with you in the presentation. So you'll be able to click on the link and watch those. But it has the one with jerk lentils, mac and cheese, but without the cheese, and some other vegan recipes that you can try yourselves. So I hope you found the presentation useful. I hope I was able to give you a lot of information about different ways of cooking and a healthy option, your Caribbean meals.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Shirley. Much appreciated. I put the email there if anyone would like a copy of the details and the presentations that we weren't able to watch today. So I can always send that to you via email. Thank you everyone for your amazing comments in the chat. Just remember, we have a few more sessions every Friday at 7:30. Let me just quickly let you know what they are. So next week, we have moving towards a plant-based diet, making your own healthy vegan breakfast. That is by our qualified chef, Louise Gittins, presenting next week. So let's give young Louise our support. We then have Karen Walker, who's going to be doing Granny's red pea soup, a healthy taste of the Caribbean. That's where she's going to try and compete with her granny. You know we can't compete with a granny between her granny's red pea soup and hers, but she's going to be looking at some alternatives in terms of just reducing some of the high salt content and so on in our original traditional red pea soup. Then we have healthy cooking on a low budget. That's Shirley back again doing that one. And then I'm bringing it all together at the end if anyone wanted to come on and share. If they've tried any of the things that they've learned on the sessions, they come together and just have a bit of a sharing and celebration at the end with some music and so on. So we also have online exercise classes every Monday morning at 10 a.m. So pop the email in the chat if you want to join those. They're absolutely free. And we're exercising to wonderful reggae music, get you all motivated. And then we have African dance workshops as well to keep us fit. So any questions before we wrap up? Well,
are you going to try some of the new alternative ways of cooking, or are you doing it already? How many of you doing it already? You're doing it already?
Pop in the chat what you've learned today. One thing you're going to take away from today. Pop it in the chat. Or say it out, you know, share it with us.
Who's going to have some okra?
Oh dear.
Yeah. Okra is lovely.
I love okra.
Okay. I love okra.
Looking for breadfruit, yes.
Yeah.
You can't always get, I was looking and there was something where a man was showing you how you roasted your breadfruit on the fire. And
yes, that's how we did it back home.
Doing it. And he was showing that there is if I can find the link, I'll share the link.
Ivy's going to use spelt flour for her dumplings. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to know how you get on, Ivy, with it. Let me know how they taste.
So in our last session, you can come back and share.
I will.
I'd love to hear. Lovely. And who's going to try the fresh coconut? I know it's more time consuming, but it is fresh, and then you've got.
It tastes so different though. It tastes so much better, the fresh coconut.
Yeah.
Laureen says we used to roast breadfruit when she was little. Yes.
Yes, I can remember that I used to have somebody bring me back some in the suitcase from Jamaica.
Oh.
wrap it top in the foil and bring it, and we get a little slice. It was nice, you know,
because we don't want to deny ourselves our rich Caribbean culture, you know. So thank you, Shirley, for just sharing some of the different ways that we can just reduce, you know, the sugars, reduce the oils, reduce the high carbs that we eat to just keep ourselves healthy and well.
Definitely.
So thank you once again. How can people get hold of you, Shirley?
They can get hold of me on my website. Shall I pop it in the chat? I'll put my email address there.
Yes, please.
I'll actually add, it's at Your Life in Your Hands. Let me just pop the website in.
If anybody needs a health check.
Yeah, there's something that I do in my business. I do a switch, and I am offering free consultations. If you want to just come and see me and have a chat about your own health and well-being, if there's some kind of health concerns that you have, because you know sometimes as women we can get anemic or we can run low and we can't get into the GP, then do feel free to come and see me for a health check.
And one of the things that CACHSF is doing as well, we have been funded to run a unity befriending project. So if you know anyone who is 50 plus, or if yourself you're feeling isolated or worried about anything, we have a befriending service where we have skilled and qualified volunteers. Many of them are here this evening. You've got Carmel, Shirley, you've got Nia, myself. We offer one-to-one support once a week to people over 50s in our community who need that listening ear. So if anyone's interested or you know someone who could benefit, please let us know, okay? Get in touch. Shirley, once again, thank you very much. And have a great evening, everyone. I hope to see you next week for Louise's session on moving towards a plant-based diet, making your own healthy vegan breakfast.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to that. I've actually put my details in the chat, so if anybody wants to click on the link now, that will take them to my website, and you can see, and my phone number is there if you need to get in touch to have a little checkup, which is important for us to do, especially in this pandemic. Lovely to see you, Carmel.
And you.
Take good care, everyone, and have a great evening.
Nice to see you, Carmel.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you, everyone.